Hi, listen, come here. Okay, that is Shouta Yasuoka of Japan. Turns out playing Control makes you a little bit tired. The good news is we've got his deck. Rich Hagan, Zach Hill. We're going to talk all about Tezzeret. Now, Shouta's been playing this forever. We're going to go to the big board and we're going to start with Japanese Nationals last year. I was there, he made the top 8 with this list. First question though, Zach, this is a Tezzeret deck. What does Tezzeret do?
The important thing to remember about Tezzeret is that it makes all your artifacts into creatures. 5/5 creatures.
So here he is.
This ability right here.
Yep.
So what that means is these creatures that you see over there, there's only 2 of them in the deck.
Right.
But that number virtually gets a lot higher very quickly.
Yeah, so on the list, we've just got a single Consecrated Sphinx and a single Wormcoil Engine. But once you start looking down the list of spells and you start finding artifacts, like, here we go, let's see, Everflowing
4 chalices, ratchet
artifacts.
bombs can start turning sideways, torpor orbs.
Okay, a couple of tumble magnets. So the idea is that they all do their own thing.
Right.
And then suddenly, rather than having the value of what they fundamentally do, so in the case of Ratchet Bomb, start killing things, it's like, I tell you what, you know what's better than killing all the 1 converted mana cost guys? Having a 5/5.
Right, it just start turning sideways. And if you notice, a lot of these cards just provide temporary defense. Ratchet Bomb deals with early guys, Tumble Magnet taps a few things, and then very quickly they can start going on the offense, as well as fuel Tezzeret's ultimate, which can just kill you by itself.
Yeah, and he has plenty of straight up removal. He's got Black Sun Zenith, Consume the Meat, couple of Disfigures, the Doom Blades, and also ways to get in the way with your Inquisition of Kozilek. Let's not let you play your game. I'm going to play mine.
Stoic Rebuttal.
Absolutely. So that is kind of iteration 1 of the deck. Back at Nationals 2011. Best part of 9 months ago now.
Right.
Let's move forward. And let's have a look. This is a different version of the deck. This is Pro Tour Nagoya, a different format. And this time, you're looking at block constructed, so a much narrower pool of cards. Still Tezzeret, fundamentally. But Zach, we've got a lot more creatures this time.
Well, the thing you have to remember about block constructed, is just the format's in general a lot weaker. And you also have to deal with more specific threats. So you see, this is a 4-color deck, and he's got 4 copies of Oxidus Scrap Melter. Just a card that comes to the battlefield, kills an artifact. He's getting a lot of value out of those cards and just has a lot more of a beatdown plan with that, plus Trinket Mage, 3 copies of the Sphinx this time. And you've got to think that between Scrap Melter and the 5/5s from Tezzeret, again, he can kill an opponent very, very quickly.
Okay, we see the addition of something like Sphere of the Suns there. Yep. That's a card that's very popular this weekend in the ramp decks. You got some Gremlin Mines going on. Go for the Throat, that's still very popular.
The splashed Beast Within, I think, is very telling.
Yeah, there've been some really cool Beast Within plays, like Beast Within your own land to block a Geist of St.
Beast Within your own Wellspring, get another land,
absolutely.
Ambush your opponent's creatures.
So that's your kind of block constructed. Now let's go to the table, to the right here, right now. And what we've got here is Shouta Yasuoka's blue-black Tezzeret Agent of Bolas deck.
Right.
So where do we start? I guess one of the signature cards, Bloodline Keeper.
Here with a Bloodline Keeper.
Wow.
I mean, we call it a Tezzeret deck, but if you look at the deck list, there's 3 Tezzerets and 4 copies of Bloodline Keeper.
Yeah, and this card just seems to keep getting better.
It does.
The more you watch people play with it, the more you think, yeah, okay, you're not just great in Sealed. You're not just great in Draft. You're not just going to be great in Innistrad block constructed on Magic Online. Suddenly, it's like, yep, you're an absolute powerhouse in Standard.
Right, and you're not just going to play 1 or 2 copies, you're going to go for the full 4, which suggests to me that he wants to tap out and cast it as much as he can. I mean, the thing that I've noticed about Bloodline Keeper this weekend is how well positioned it is. You have a lot of removal. I mean, you see his own Doom Blades and Tragic Slips. They can't touch it. You see Gut Shot. Can't touch it. And when people are trying to win with Moorland Haunts and Delvers of Secrets,
little guys,
the fact that this guy makes 2/2 flyers every turn, it outpaces almost everything that the blue-white decks can throw at it.
Okay. Now the next row, we're packed full of artifacts.
Oh, yeah.
And of course they're all in Japanese pretty much. Well, what can you do? There's an actual Ratchet Bomb there in English version. A couple of Sphere of the Suns, Spell Skite we've got for you. One Tumble Magnet
masterful
still remains from
9 months ago.
Yeah. Brand new, Grafdigger's Cage.
Very key element of the deck.
And then your guys, if you will, your Batterskull and your Wormcoil Engine. So altogether, 2, 4, 5, 7, 9, we've got 13 artifacts. Now, does that feel like a low number to you, or does that feel just about right for what you're going to try and turn on with Tezzeret?
That's what I was going to say, Rich, is it feels about like the right number to me. The temptation when you're playing a Tezzeret deck is you never want to miss when you activate his first ability. So you pack your deck full of 20 artifacts, but it doesn't matter if you're getting a card every turn if the cards you're getting are bad cards.
Sure.
What this list seems to do to me is have enough density of artifacts to hit reasonably often, while also taking advantage of the fact that Tezzeret digs very deep for your threats. So, you can get to these Grafdigger's Cages, you can get to these Spell Skies.
Because you're looking at the top 5, right, every time you activate Tezzeret.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then, of course, you get right back in the game against the aggressive plan with your big lifelinkers.
Absolutely, the Batterskull and the Wormcoil Engine.
Right.
So the next row, no artifacts to be found here.
Nope.
We're into classic removal territory. A single Doomblade, reusable Black Sun Zenith, the 4 of, the poster child for cheap and efficient removal in Dark Ascension.
One of the breakout cards of Dark Ascension.
Absolutely, because this -1 business, let's face it, it's -13 when you want it to be. And then another card that's just so tough for a lot of decks to play against, Curse of Death's Hold. It's the kind of the Black Elish Norn, in a way.
Oh, right.
That's one way of thinking of it, just because it comes down and instantly there's no chance to respond. It's like it appears and bad things are happening on the other side. And then we've got a couple of Despise, a Go for the Throat, and another Planeswalker putting in an appearance, the very lovely Liliana of the Veil. So there's a lot of disruption there, Zach, all in all.
Well, and what you notice when you look at this deck is you have a lot of pretty ponderous cards, really expensive stuff up here. The Bloodline Keepers, the Tezzerets. You've got to have a lot of cheap ways to protect your threats and ways to ensure that you don't die before you get to cast all of this. I mean, the other thing is this is a 24 land deck. Sometimes you're going to hiccup on mana, as we've seen over the course of the day, and it's these cards that help keep you alive.
Absolutely.
It's a blue-black control deck nominally, but in the main deck, there's only 4 blue cards.
Yeah, and also, you were talking about the fact earlier on that when we looked at the list with Consecrated Sphinx, 1 of, and then with 3 of at the Nagoya list, there aren't as many 6-drops.
No,
and we're not trying to commit to a big guy to write it home. There's all sorts of. It is much more in a way a Tezzeret deck that actually says, okay, still alive, Tezzeret, couple of 5/5s, they're what's going to kill you.
Right.
You're actually going to die to a Spellskite and a Tumble Magnet. You're not. I mean, sometimes, of course, the Wormcoil Engine gets there.
Nexus, that's a 5/5 infect creature. It kills you in 2 attacks.
Now, let's talk about the land then. We know that you like to build these at home, so here is the mana base. It's pretty much what you'd expect. 4 and 4 to give you the blue-black in every configuration. 9 swamps in total. I think I've got that right. I think there might be 1 lurking in there somewhere. And then 3 islands and the big 4 Inkmoth Nexus. And as Zach says, well, it becomes an artifact, becomes 1/1 flying, but then Tezzeret says, I tell you what, how about we make it huge?
And you can threaten with Inkmoth Nexus out of nowhere. Your opponent can be winning a race. And if you have Tezzeret, you can turn on Inkmoth hit for 5. If you can protect your Tezzeret the next turn, they thought they were on that they had you on the back burner. That
they were the beatdown.
Exactly, right. Who's the beatdown? Well, me now. I'll get you with a Nexus. And
absolutely.
So the ability to turn the tables that rapidly, I think, is a key to the success of this deck.
Well, last thing to show you, it's the sideboard, of course. So we've got 3 Flash Freeze. When you really, really want the humans to go away and die in a fire.
4 curses. Does not mess around.
Yeah, 4 Curse Death's Hold. 4 Phyrexian Crusader, protection from red and from white, a little bonus Doomblade, the 2nd and 3rd copies of the Phantasmal Image to let you copy things, and then 3 Distress. So that's kind of the capsuled history, if you like, of Tezzeret. And the thing is, let's be honest here, okay? It turns out that this is a very difficult deck to play. And a lot of pros won't play this deck because they know in their heart of hearts they're not quite ready to make the optimal play turn after turn. There are few certainties in life. Death, taxes, and Shota Yasuoka playing a Tezzeret deck when he's able to. So let's just put it all away, put it back in the deck box.
Before he notices.
He'll never know. For Zach Hill, I'm your host, Rich Hagan, saying bye.